Liam Hart woke up to the soft glow of dawn filtering through his bedroom window. The city of Chicago lay quiet, the bustling streets still wrapped in a blanket of early morning calm. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes and sat up, the sheets tangled around him like a cocoon. Today felt different, a sense of restlessness coursing through him, urging him to break free from the confines of his apartment. As he swung his legs over the side of the bed, Liam glanced around at his surroundings. His small studio was cluttered with half-finished canvases, paint tubes scattered like colorful confetti across the floor. Each piece held a fragment of his soul, yet none felt complete. He sighed, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Inspiration had been elusive lately, slipping through his fingers like water. With a determined shake of his head, Liam decided that a walk might clear his mind. He needed to breathe in the crisp morning air, to feel the pulse of the city before it awoke in full force. After quickly throwing on a worn hoodie and a pair of jeans, he stepped outside. The streets were still damp from an overnight rain, glistening under the soft light of dawn. As he walked, Liam could hear the distant hum of traffic beginning to stir. The world was waking up slowly, and he wanted to capture that moment, the stillness before chaos erupted. He wandered towards Lincoln Park, a place he often found solace in. The trees stood tall and proud, their leaves whispering secrets to one another in the gentle breeze. Liam took a deep breath, inhaling the earthy scent of wet grass and blooming flowers. This was what he craved, inspiration wrapped in nature's embrace. As he strolled along the winding paths, he pulled out his sketchbook from his backpack. Flipping through its pages filled with sketches and ideas that had yet to materialize into something tangible, he felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. Maybe today would be different. Finding a quiet bench under a sprawling oak tree, he settled down and began to draw. The strokes of his pencil flowed effortlessly as he captured the essence of the park, the way the light danced through the leaves and how shadows played on the ground. Time slipped away as he lost himself in his art. Suddenly, a sharp sound broke through his concentration, a voice calling out in authority. Liam looked up to see a police officer approaching him. The officer was tall and athletic, with sharp features that hinted at both strength and kindness. His uniform was crisp, but there was something about him that felt approachable. "Hey there," the officer said with a friendly smile. "What are you working on?" Liam's heart raced slightly at being interrupted but found himself captivated by the officer's warm demeanor. "Just sketching the park," he replied, trying to sound casual despite the flutter in his chest. "Looks good," Ryan Blake said as he leaned closer to examine Liam's work. "You've got quite an eye for detail." Liam felt a blush creep up his cheeks at the compliment. "Thanks. I'm just trying to capture this moment before it disappears." Ryan nodded thoughtfully, his gaze lingering on Liam's drawing for a moment longer before meeting his eyes again. There was an intensity in those blue depths that made Liam's breath hitch slightly. "Mind if I take a seat?" Ryan asked, gesturing to the empty space beside Liam. "Not at all," Liam replied, surprised by how easily they fell into conversation. They talked about art and life. Ryan shared stories from his patrols while Liam spoke about his aspirations as an artist. As they chatted, Liam felt an undeniable connection forming between them, an electric current that sparked with every shared laugh and lingering glance. The world around them faded away until it was just the two of them under that oak tree. But as their conversation deepened, Ryan's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of something serious crossed his face. "I should get back to my rounds," he said reluctantly after what felt like hours spent together. Liam nodded, feeling an unexpected pang of disappointment at their parting. "Yeah, I understand. Maybe I'll see you around here again?" Ryan asked with a hopeful smile. "Definitely," Liam replied, feeling warmth spread through him at the thought. As Ryan walked away, Liam couldn't shake off the feeling that this encounter was more than just chance. It felt like fate nudging him towards something new and exciting. With renewed inspiration flooding through him, Liam returned to his sketchbook and began to draw again, this time capturing not just the beauty of the park but also something deeper, a connection that had begun to blossom in those early morning hours. The following morning, the sun rose with a golden hue, casting a warm glow over Chicago. Liam Hart found himself restless once again, the memory of his encounter with Officer Ryan Blake lingering in his mind like a sweet melody. He couldn't shake off the feeling that their connection was something special, something worth exploring. After a quick breakfast, Liam decided to return to Lincoln Park, hoping to find inspiration and perhaps run into Ryan again. The park was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves, a stark contrast to the bustling city that surrounded it. As he walked along the familiar paths, he felt a sense of anticipation coursing through him. Liam settled onto the same bench where they had first met, pulling out his sketchbook. He began to draw, but his mind kept wandering back to Ryan, the way his eyes sparkled when he smiled and how easy it had been to talk to him. Each stroke of his pencil felt incomplete without the officer's presence beside him. Just as he was about to give in to frustration, he heard footsteps approaching. Liam looked up, and there was Ryan, his uniform crisp and his demeanor relaxed. The sight of him sent a rush of warmth through Liam's chest. "Hey there," Ryan greeted, his smile brightening the morning even more. "Fancy seeing you here again." "Yeah, I thought I'd come back for some inspiration," Liam replied, trying to keep his voice steady despite the fluttering in his stomach. Ryan took a seat beside him, glancing at Liam's sketchbook. "What are you working on today?" Liam hesitated for a moment before turning the pages to reveal his latest sketches. "Just some ideas, trying to capture the essence of this place." Ryan studied the drawings intently, nodding in appreciation. "You have a real talent for this. It's like you can see beyond what's right in front of you." Liam felt his cheeks warm at the compliment. "Thanks. I just try to find beauty in everything." Their conversation flowed effortlessly as they shared stories about their lives. Liam spoke about his dreams of becoming a renowned artist while Ryan opened up about his career in law enforcement and the challenges he faced on the job. With each word exchanged, their bond deepened. "I've seen some pretty dark things out there," Ryan admitted, his tone turning serious for a moment. "But it's moments like these that remind me why I do what I do, connecting with people, making a difference." Liam nodded, feeling a swell of admiration for Ryan's dedication. "It takes a lot of courage to do what you do." Ryan shrugged modestly but smiled at the acknowledgement. "And it takes courage to put yourself out there as an artist. We're not so different after all." As they continued talking, Liam felt an undeniable chemistry building between them, a magnetic pull that drew them closer together. He could see it reflected in Ryan's eyes. There was an intensity that made it hard for Liam to focus on anything else. Suddenly, Ryan shifted slightly in his seat, leaning closer as if sharing a secret. "You know," he said softly, "I've been thinking about how nice it would be to get together outside of this park, maybe grab coffee or something." Liam's heart raced at the suggestion. "I'd love that," he replied, unable to hide his excitement. "Great. How about tomorrow? There's this little cafe nearby that has amazing pastries," Ryan proposed. "Tomorrow sounds perfect," Liam said, feeling giddy at the prospect of spending more time with him. As they exchanged numbers and made plans for their coffee date, Liam couldn't help but feel that this was the beginning of something beautiful, a journey filled with exploration and connection. But just as they were about to part ways again, Ryan's expression shifted slightly. He looked pensive for a moment before shaking it off. "I should get back on patrol," he said reluctantly. Liam nodded but felt a pang of disappointment wash over him. "Yeah, I understand. See you tomorrow then?" Ryan asked with a hopeful smile. "Definitely," Liam replied, watching as Ryan walked away, his heart racing with anticipation for what lay ahead. As Liam sat back down on the bench after Ryan left, he felt an overwhelming sense of hope bubbling within him. The world felt brighter and more vibrant than ever before. He picked up his pencil again and began sketching, not just the park but also the feelings swirling inside him, the excitement of new love and the thrill of possibilities yet to come. The next day dawned bright and clear, the sun spilling golden light across the city. Liam's heart awoke with a sense of excitement thrumming in his chest. Today was the day he would meet Ryan Blake for coffee, and the thought sent butterflies dancing in his stomach. He could hardly focus on his morning routine, his mind was a whirlwind of anticipation. After hastily finishing breakfast, Liam dressed with care, choosing a simple yet stylish outfit that made him feel confident. He wanted to make a good impression, not just as an artist but as someone who was genuinely interested in getting to know Ryan better. As he stepped outside, the crisp air invigorated him, heightening his sense of adventure. Arriving at the cafe, Liam took a moment to absorb the atmosphere. The place was quaint and charming, with outdoor seating adorned with colorful flowers and small tables that invited conversation. He found a cozy spot near the window and settled in, his heart racing as he glanced at the door every few seconds. Minutes felt like hours as he waited, but just when doubt began to creep in, he spotted Ryan entering the cafe. Dressed in casual attire that suited him perfectly, Ryan looked effortlessly handsome. His eyes scanned the room until they landed on Liam, and a broad smile broke across his face. "Hey, sorry I'm late," Ryan said as he approached, his voice warm and inviting. "I got caught up with some paperwork." "No worries at all," Liam replied, feeling a rush of relief wash over him. "I just got here myself." They exchanged pleasantries and ordered their drinks. Liam chose a latte while Ryan opted for black coffee. As they settled into their seats, the conversation flowed naturally. They talked about everything from their favorite movies to their childhood memories, each revelation drawing them closer together. Liam found himself captivated by Ryan's stories, how he had grown up in a small town and joined the police force to make a difference in people's lives. There was a sincerity in Ryan's words that resonated deeply with Liam. In return, Liam shared tales of his artistic journey, the struggles he faced and the moments of triumph that kept him going. As they laughed and exchanged stories, time seemed to slip away unnoticed. The cafe buzzed with life around them, but it felt like they were in their own little world. Liam couldn't help but admire how Ryan's eyes sparkled when he spoke passionately about his work. It made Liam's heart race. Eventually, their drinks were finished, but neither seemed ready to leave just yet. "How about we take a walk?" Ryan suggested, glancing out at the sunny street beyond the cafe. "There's a park nearby that's really nice." "Sounds perfect," Liam agreed eagerly. They stepped outside into the warmth of the day, walking side by side down tree-lined streets filled with laughter and chatter from passers-by. The sun bathed everything in a golden hue, making everything feel alive and vibrant. As they strolled through the park, Ryan pointed out various landmarks, the small pond where children fed ducks and the playground where laughter echoed through the air. Liam listened intently, soaking in every detail as if painting a mental picture for his art. "Do you ever find inspiration in places like this?" Ryan asked suddenly, turning to face Liam with genuine curiosity. "Absolutely," Liam replied passionately. "Nature has this way of sparking creativity in me. It's like every leaf and shadow tells a story waiting to be told." Ryan smiled at him, an expression of admiration crossing his face. "I can see that in your art. You have such a unique perspective." Their eyes locked for a moment, and Liam felt an electric charge between them, a connection that went beyond words. Just then, they reached a quiet spot under a large willow tree where they could sit on a bench surrounded by blooming flowers. As they sat down, Ryan turned slightly towards Liam. "You know," he began hesitantly, "I've really enjoyed getting to know you these past few days." Liam's heart raced at those words, he could feel something significant building between them. "Me too," he admitted softly. Ryan leaned closer, lowering his voice as if sharing something sacred. "I know we've only just met, but I feel like there's something special here, between us." Liam's breath caught in his throat as he processed what Ryan was saying. The thrill of possibility surged within him, a feeling he had longed for but never truly experienced before. "I feel it too," Liam replied earnestly, unable to hide his smile. In that moment of vulnerability and honesty, Ryan reached out and gently took Liam's hand in his own, a simple gesture that sent shivers down Liam's spine. Their fingers intertwined effortlessly as if they were meant to fit together all along. But just as they were lost in each other's gaze, Ryan's phone buzzed loudly on the bench between them. He reluctantly pulled away to check it, glancing at the screen before sighing deeply. "Duty calls," he said apologetically, running a hand through his hair in frustration. Liam felt a pang of disappointment but understood all too well how demanding Ryan's job could be. "It's okay," he reassured him softly. "I'll be back on patrol soon," Ryan promised with an earnest look in his eyes. "But I'd love to do this again." "Definitely," Liam replied with enthusiasm that masked any sadness he felt inside. As they stood up from the bench, Ryan leaned down slightly and pressed a soft kiss against Liam's cheek, a fleeting touch that sent warmth flooding through him. "I'll text you later," Ryan asked as they walked back toward the cafe entrance. "Please do," Liam replied breathlessly. Watching Ryan walk away felt bittersweet. Part of him wanted to run after him while another part cherished this moment, the promise of something beautiful beginning to unfold between them. Liam returned home feeling lighter than air. Inspiration surged through him not just for art but for life itself. He knew this was only the beginning of their journey together, a journey filled with love and discovery waiting just around the corner. The following week unfolded like a vivid painting, each day filled with anticipation and excitement. Liam Hart and Ryan Blake had quickly fallen into a rhythm, their connection deepening with every stolen moment together. They met frequently, exploring the city, sharing meals, and laughing over coffee. Each encounter felt charged with unspoken promise, yet Liam sensed an underlying tension in Ryan that he couldn't quite place. One evening, as they strolled through the vibrant streets of Chicago, the city illuminated by twinkling lights, Liam noticed Ryan's demeanor shift. He was quieter than usual, his gaze drifting to the ground as they walked. Concern flickered in Liam's chest. "Hey," Liam said gently, stopping to face Ryan. "Is everything okay?" Ryan hesitated for a moment before looking up, his blue eyes clouded with something Liam couldn't decipher. "Yeah, just, work has been a bit hectic lately," he replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Liam studied him closely. "You can talk to me about it if you want. I'm here for you." Ryan took a deep breath, running a hand through his hair as he weighed his words. "It's just that I've been involved in this case, something serious. I can't go into details, but it's been weighing on me." Liam felt a knot tighten in his stomach. He had seen enough crime dramas to know that serious cases often came with danger and stress. "Is there anything I can do to help?" he asked earnestly. Ryan shook his head slowly. "It's not something you can help with, Liam. I just need to get through it." The conversation hung in the air between them, heavy with unspoken fears. Liam wanted to reach out and comfort Ryan but felt the weight of the officer's responsibilities pressing down on him. "Let's change the subject," Ryan suggested after a moment of silence. "How's your art coming along?" Liam smiled at the change of topic but couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. "I've been working on a new piece inspired by our walks together," he said, trying to keep the mood light. "Really? I'd love to see it," Ryan replied, his interest piqued. "Maybe I'll invite you over this weekend," Liam proposed, feeling a spark of excitement at the thought of sharing his work with Ryan. "Sounds perfect," Ryan said, and for a moment, the tension seemed to ease between them. As they continued their walk, Liam couldn't help but steal glances at Ryan. He admired how the streetlights cast a warm glow on his face, highlighting the strength and vulnerability that coexisted within him. Liam wanted nothing more than to support Ryan through whatever storm he was facing. The weekend arrived quickly, and Liam spent Saturday morning preparing for Ryan's visit. He tidied up his apartment and set up his easel in front of the window where natural light poured in beautifully. He wanted everything to be perfect. This was more than just a display of his art, it was an invitation into his world. When Ryan arrived later that afternoon, he brought with him a bouquet of wildflowers, a thoughtful gesture that made Liam's heart swell. "For you," Ryan said shyly as he handed them over. "They're beautiful." "Thank you," Liam exclaimed, touched by the sweet surprise. Ryan stepped inside and looked around curiously as Liam placed the flowers in a vase on the table. "Wow, your place is so vibrant," he remarked, taking in the colorful canvases that adorned the walls. "Thanks. It reflects who I am," Liam replied with a grin. "Now come see what I've been working on." He led Ryan to the easel where his latest piece stood, a large canvas filled with swirling colors depicting a sunset over Lincoln Park. The hues blended together seamlessly, capturing both tranquility and energy. "This is incredible," Ryan breathed as he studied it closely. "You've really captured the essence of the park." Liam felt pride swell within him at Ryan's praise. "I wanted to convey how peaceful it feels there, like time stands still." As they talked about art and inspiration, laughter filled the room, erasing any lingering tension from earlier in the week. They shared stories about their favorite artists and discussed their dreams for the future. Liam's aspirations as an artist and Ryan's hopes for making meaningful changes in his community through law enforcement. But just as they were getting lost in conversation again, Ryan's phone buzzed loudly on the table between them. He glanced at it and sighed heavily. "I'm sorry," he said apologetically as he picked it up. "I have to take this." Liam nodded understandingly but felt disappointment wash over him again as he watched Ryan step away to take the call. The joy they had built together seemed to dissipate momentarily as Ryan spoke in hushed tones. After several minutes of conversation filled with urgency and concern, Ryan returned with an expression that sent chills down Liam's spine. Something serious had shifted in him. "I have to go," Ryan said abruptly, his voice tense. "What, now?" Liam asked incredulously, feeling panic rise within him. "It's work, there's been an incident downtown," Ryan explained quickly, running a hand through his hair again in frustration. "I'm sorry, I didn't want this to happen today." Liam felt a mix of fear and helplessness wash over him. "Be careful out there," he urged softly. Ryan stepped closer, then paused for just a moment before leaning down to press another gentle kiss against Liam's cheek, a fleeting touch that held so much meaning behind it. "I'll be back as soon as I can," he promised before rushing towards the door. As soon as he left, silence enveloped Liam's apartment like a heavy fog. He stood there staring at the door long after it closed behind Ryan, feeling an ache in his chest where warmth had once blossomed. With trembling hands, he turned back to his canvas. The vibrant colors now seemed muted under the weight of uncertainty hanging over him. He picked up his brush but found it hard to focus. All he could think about was Ryan out there facing danger alone. That night passed slowly. Worry gnawed at him like an insatiable beast while shadows danced across his walls, reminders of how fragile life could be when intertwined with love and duty. Liam knew deep down that whatever challenges lay ahead for them both would test their bond, but he also held on to hope that love could conquer even the darkest nights. The following days dragged on like a slow-moving tide, each moment stretching into eternity as Liam Hart anxiously awaited news from Ryan Blake. The initial shock of Ryan's abrupt departure lingered in the air, and with each passing hour, Liam felt a growing sense of unease. He tried to distract himself with his art, but the vibrant colors on his canvas felt muted, overshadowed by worry. Liam's phone buzzed incessantly with messages from Sophie, his best friend, checking in on him. She had been supportive throughout his budding relationship with Ryan, but even her cheerful texts couldn't lift the weight pressing down on him. He missed Ryan's laughter, the warmth of his presence, and the way they could talk for hours about anything and everything. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Liam received a text from Ryan late one evening. "Hey, I'm okay. Just got caught up with work. Can we talk?" Relief washed over Liam like a wave crashing against the shore. He quickly replied, "Of course. When? Can I come by tomorrow? I'll explain everything." Liam's heart raced at the thought of seeing Ryan again. "Yes, I'll be here." The next day felt like an eternity as Liam prepared for Ryan's visit. He cleaned his apartment once more and set out snacks, his favorite pastries from the cafe where they had spent so many happy moments together. As the clock ticked closer to their meeting time, anticipation mixed with anxiety churned in his stomach. When Ryan finally arrived, he looked worn but relieved to be back in Liam's presence. His uniform was slightly rumpled, and there were dark circles under his eyes that hadn't been there before. Despite this, when he saw Liam, a genuine smile broke through the fatigue. "Hey," Ryan said softly as he stepped inside. "Hey," Liam replied, trying to mask the worry that had settled in his chest. "I'm glad you're here." They settled onto the couch, and Liam handed Ryan a pastry. "You look like you could use this," he said gently. Ryan chuckled lightly as he took a bite, but it quickly faded into seriousness as he set it down. "I'm sorry for disappearing on you like that," he began, running a hand through his hair in frustration. "Things got really intense at work." Liam nodded, encouraging him to continue. "What happened?" Ryan took a deep breath, collecting his thoughts before speaking. "There was a string of robberies in downtown Chicago, really violent ones. We were working around the clock trying to catch the guys responsible." Liam felt a chill run down his spine at the mention of violence. "Were you in danger?" Ryan hesitated for a moment before answering. "There were some close calls," he admitted quietly. "But we managed to apprehend them last night." Relief flooded through Liam at the news but was quickly replaced by concern for Ryan's well-being. "I'm glad you're safe," he said earnestly. "Thanks," Ryan replied, looking grateful yet still burdened by what he had experienced. It takes a toll on you, you know. The things I see every day, sometimes it feels overwhelming." Liam reached out and placed a comforting hand on Ryan's knee. "You don't have to carry that alone," he said softly. "I'm here for you." Ryan looked down at their hands for a moment before meeting Liam's gaze again, vulnerability etched across his face. I know that, but I also don't want to drag you into my world of chaos. Ryan, Liam said firmly but gently, you're not dragging me into anything. I want to be here for you, especially when things get tough. A flicker of gratitude crossed Ryan's features as he squeezed Liam's hand lightly. You make it easier to cope with everything, he admitted. They sat in silence for a moment, both absorbing the weight of their conversation and the strength of their connection. Then Ryan shifted slightly closer to Liam, their bodies almost touching. I've been thinking about us, Ryan said quietly, his voice barely above a whisper. Liam's heart raced at those words. He had been thinking about them too, about how quickly they had fallen for each other despite the challenges they faced. I care about you a lot, Ryan continued, searching Liam's eyes for understanding. But sometimes I worry that my job will put you in danger or make things complicated. Life is complicated, Liam replied softly but firmly. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't explore what we have together. Ryan studied him for a moment before nodding slowly as if coming to terms with something important within himself. You're right, he said finally. I want to see where this goes too. In that moment of shared understanding and honesty, something shifted between them, a realization that they could face whatever challenges lay ahead together. As they leaned closer, their lips met in a soft kiss filled with promise and reassurance, a reminder that love could thrive even amidst chaos. When they pulled away, both were breathless yet smiling, a newfound determination igniting within them. Let's take this one step at a time, Ryan suggested softly. I'm all in, Liam replied without hesitation. And just like that, they began navigating their journey together, a journey filled with love and resilience against whatever storms life might throw their way. The days that followed marked a new chapter in Liam Hart and Ryan Blake's relationship. With the weight of uncertainty lifted, they embraced each moment together with a renewed sense of purpose. Each day felt like an adventure, filled with laughter, shared dreams, and quiet moments of understanding. One sunny Saturday afternoon, Liam suggested they take a trip to the Art Institute of Chicago, a place that had always inspired him. Ryan agreed enthusiastically, eager to explore the world through Liam's eyes. As they walked hand in hand through the bustling streets, Liam felt a warmth spreading through him, an assurance that they were on the right path together. Upon arriving at the museum, Liam led Ryan through the grand entrance, excitement bubbling within him. You're going to love this place, he said, his eyes sparkling. There's so much to see. They wandered through the galleries, stopping to admire masterpieces by Monet, Van Gogh, and Grant Wood. Ryan listened intently as Liam shared stories about each artist and their techniques. The way Ryan engaged with his passion was heartwarming. He asked questions and offered insights that made Liam feel seen and appreciated. This one is my favorite, Liam said as they stood before a vibrant painting of a sunset. It reminds me of our walks in Lincoln Park. Ryan leaned closer to study it. I can see why you love it, he replied thoughtfully. The colors are so alive. Liam beamed at the compliment, feeling grateful for Ryan's understanding of his artistic soul. They moved on to a contemporary exhibit filled with bold installations and thought-provoking pieces. As they explored, Ryan's analytical mind shone through. He offered perspectives that challenged Liam to think differently about art. I never thought about it that way, Liam admitted after Ryan analyzed a particularly abstract piece. You have a unique way of seeing things. It's all about perspective, Ryan said with a smile. Just like in life. As they continued their tour, Liam felt an overwhelming sense of joy wash over him. This was more than just an outing, it was a celebration of their connection, a testament to how far they had come together. After hours of exploring, they found themselves in a quiet corner cafe within the museum, sipping coffee and enjoying pastries. The atmosphere was relaxed, filled with soft chatter and the clinking of cups, a perfect backdrop for their conversation. I've been thinking, Ryan began hesitantly, looking down at his cup. About how we can make this work, you know, with my job and everything. Liam's heart raced at the seriousness in Ryan's tone. What do you mean? I want you to be part of my life fully, Ryan said earnestly, meeting Liam's gaze with intensity. But I also need you to understand that my work can be unpredictable. Liam nodded slowly, absorbing Ryan's words. I get that, but I want you to know I'm here for you, through the good times and the tough ones. Ryan smiled softly at that reassurance but then looked pensive again. I just don't want to put you in harm's way or make you worry. Worrying is part of caring, Liam replied gently. And I trust you to keep yourself safe. Ryan reached across the table and took Liam's hand in his own, their fingers intertwining effortlessly. I care about you so much, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I care about you too, Liam replied sincerely, feeling warmth radiate from their connection. As they sat there holding hands, surrounded by art and beauty, something shifted within them, a shared understanding that love could withstand challenges if both were committed to facing them together. After finishing their coffee, they decided to stroll through Millennium Park nearby. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over the city skyline as they walked side by side. Look at that, Liam exclaimed as he pointed towards Cloud Gate, the iconic sculpture known as the Bean. Its reflective surface shimmered under the evening light. They approached the sculpture, laughing as they took turns capturing silly selfies in its shiny reflection. In those moments of joy and spontaneity, all worries faded away. It was just them, two souls connecting amidst the chaos of life. As dusk settled over Chicago, Ryan pulled Liam close under the twinkling lights strung around the park. The atmosphere felt magical as they stood together in silence for a moment, lost in each other's eyes. Can I ask you something? Ryan said suddenly. Of course, Liam replied curiously. Where do you see us going from here? Ryan asked gently but seriously. Liam took a deep breath. This was an important question, one that required honesty and vulnerability. I see us building something beautiful together, he said finally. I want to support each other's dreams while navigating whatever comes our way. Ryan's expression softened at those words, he seemed relieved yet hopeful at the same time. I'd like that too, he replied quietly. Then without thinking twice, Ryan leaned down and captured Liam's lips with his own in a tender kiss, a promise sealed under the stars above them. As they pulled away slightly breathless but smiling brightly at each other, Liam felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over him. They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, together. In that moment beneath the Chicago sky filled with possibilities and dreams yet to unfold, both knew this was just the beginning of their journey, a journey marked by love, resilience, and unwavering support for one another.